How you doing? Welcome to 2020 LMT virtual convention. This is our first. I kind of hope that's our last because I prefer to see the people I'm talking to, and when you're demonstrating, they're able to look at it, hold it in their hands, and it's a better feel. Like in this guy here, this is pretty damn light. You know, you're not going to know this unless you buy one, and you'll find out at the convention. You get to maneuver it and play with it and so on. But anyway, it is what it is. And for now, this is the best way that we could possibly do it. And we're going to do our best to get this thing done. So anyway, I am demonstrating the Enzo Universal Articulator. It's all plasterless, very light, compact. We have them in a variety of colors, well, variety of 5. You have the clear, anodized. We have turquoise blue, anodized. This one, and they're all pretty nice. This is a purple, again, purple anodized. How beautiful they are. We have one that is black, which is really, really nice also. And these are great for scanners. You know, you put it in a scanner, there's less reflection. So it's a benefit there for the scanning opportunity. And we have a gold one, which is pretty cool also. So we have a variety of colors, and they're good looking, but they actually function pretty well. Anyway, I'm going to give you a demonstration on the articulator. There's a whole bunch of stuff that this articulator does. I mean, we have adapters. I'm going to go through this in the next half hour, and you're going to get a really a good idea what this little guy is all about. And by the end of the demonstration, hopefully you might be convinced that it'll pique your interest, and you never know, you may want to buy one. And if you do, that'd be great. And if you don't, well, maybe that's not so great, but I prefer you buy one. Anyway, here we go. This articulator has 4 screws that you loosen up in order to articulate the case. These bottom ones on each side allows the pillars to move up and down, the vertical rods. It has a millimeter scale that you could use like a verticulator to measure it up and down, whether you want to open or close the vertical, which is pretty cool. You have the top assembly, which swivels 360 degrees. You have the bottom assembly, does the same thing. The ball joint swivels. Now, to articulate, score the models, cut them up a little bit, and then glue the plastic disposable onto the model. We use a crazy glue called Aran Alpha 202. 202 is very important because it just works out perfect. You got 201 and 203. 201 is a little too liquidy. 203 is a little too molasses pouring. Anyway, so use 202. Anyway, to articulate, what we do is take the female, you slide it onto the male. Now, before we go into that, the male has a prong at the end. Now, again, it's difficult for you guys to see this, but I'm going to try to bring it. And it's a little pointy. What that does is when you tighten it onto the female is left with a little tiny dimple on there. So when you got to put it back, you have 2 things. First, it'll go back 100% anyway. The other one is to be secure. You have a little dimple that when you lock it, it goes back in the same position every single time. So that's a pretty good feature. Anyway, so to articulate, we're going to use this guy here. You lock it. Again, you do the same thing for the top. You lock it. This way it doesn't go nowhere. And the beautiful part about that is you could take it out anytime and put it back absolutely 100% in the same position. So anyway, find your position. Now, you have this top assembly, as you can see, it's way up here. There's your stop. Your vertical stop is down here. You want to be close to that guy. I know you can see this. Okay, so I bring it down. You want to be close to it because right now it doesn't matter. You have a teeth that's going to have the stop. If you do an indenture, it's an edentulous. You're going to need this. You don't want to be up here because that screw will never reach that. So you want to be right there. You don't have to touch it, but get close. So that when you're finished, you could always tighten it. Tighten it up. Okay, now hold it down and start tightening all the screws that we loosened up earlier. Bottom assembly, top assembly, and the vertical rods. And you're done. And you're finished. Takes you 15 seconds. And it's absolutely accurate. It really is. We worked on this a long, long time to make sure we achieved that. And we did. I mean, the accuracy of this is, for a plaster articulator, is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, the beautiful thing about this is, if there is a mistake or you got to re-articulate it for any reasons, all you got to do is loosen up the top assembly, jiggle around to the correct position, and just lock it up. It takes you 5 seconds, 10 seconds to do that. If you have to, if it's really out of position and you have to maneuver a little bit different, you could loosen, the top and bottom assembly and move it around. And if you have to, you can loosen up all of them and re-articulate it, which takes you seconds. So it's pretty good. Now the articulator has, you open this up and it allows you to have lateral, you have protrusive excursion. So it's a really, I don't know if you want to call this a semi-adjustable. I don't want to say that, but it has these movements. It doesn't have all the movements of a fully adjustable articulator. If it did, it would be so much heavier, so much bigger, and that's not my goal. My goal was to do exactly this, and actually we achieved that. So, and it's a really cool articulator. Now, if you have to work off of the articulator, let's say you're a ceramist and you can start building up your teeth and so on, and at the end you want to carve it and so on, you don't want to hold the articulator in your hand, just do this. And you could work on without the articulator, which is pretty cool. And the nice part about that is it goes back 100% every single time. You will never be disappointed. That's the function of the articulator. Now, we have a bunch of adapters. I'll start with this guy here. This is a step-down arm. You take out the straight arm that was on here, that you see on here now. You take that out and you replace it with a step-down, and allows you to do this. Articulate the smallest little models. Now, it's really, really easy. I'll just do it real quick for you. You loosen up the top of the assembly. Not loosen it up. You take it off completely. Take it out. Easy does it. And there she goes. Yeah. And you put it back. And you put the assembly back in the same position. So you put this guy back. There's a little washer inside here. Don't lose that guy. Put it back in position. And all you got to do is, I mean, it takes you 2 seconds, And as far as articulating this, same thing. If once you learn how to do this, this is the same way. But again, even with digital models, they are always correct. This gives you the opportunity to make some changes, which is pretty important. I mean, you have some of the, if you are using plaster, you know what you got to go through. You got to knock off the plaster. You got to go through all kind of big ordeal, to get it rearticulated. If you have a plastic articulator, those are not so accurate. And if you have to make a change, from what I understand, I don't use them, but from what I understand, is they use a torch to warm up and heat up or melt the plastic a little bit and maneuver into the position. That to me is crazy. This is accurate and it's fast. So anyway, that's the little bent on arm, and it works out fantastic. So we have a whole bunch of different little things. This guy here is another cool little feature that that's adapted to the articulator. It's a protrusive adapter. Same thing. You got to take it out. It's what I just showed you is the same identical way of doing it. But the nice part about this is if let's see, if you're doing a case, let's say a snoring appliance, where sometimes you have to move the lower jaw forward, this articulator will allow that. Now, by the way, this is a 3M model system. If this articulates anything that the plastic sleeve, the female, you could glue it on. You could use any model system, any model system. I mean, I have a few to show you, but no matter what you have, as long as you're able to glue the plastic female, you're able to articulate it. But anyway, I got this articulated, and I have the protrusive adapter in place. Now you have to. Now this is the only articulator that's going to do this. This is pretty cool. Loosen this up and pull out the jaw as much as you need. It has a millimeter scale, but this one here is even smaller than the other one. So you know, my eyes, I can't see none of the shit. But you know, I got glasses, bifocals that I could get close enough that I could read it. But anyway, it's there, so you could actually measure how far you're coming out and lock it. Again, you bring it out to where you need it and just lock it, and it's not going to go anywhere. So that's another little feature that's pretty cool. Now, you could have one on the top, one on the bottom, for whatever reason. Again, I don't know how much use everybody has with that, but I know one of the snoring devices definitely is a help. Now, you probably, as a technician, you probably find other reason to do that. Like if you want to, you could loosen this up, bring it forward, and articulate, well, go through the movements, articulate it with this protrusive adapter being forward. Then you could move back and forth, and that's pretty cool. Again, you're not locked in, so it has a lot of features, a lot of movements, so that's pretty cool. So that's the protrusive adapter. There's the scanning adapter. The idea of this came when I bought my first 3-shape scanner. They had no way of putting these models together successfully, accurate. And I couldn't understand. You got a $35,000 scanner, and they use putty and rubber bands to hold it. That's so insane. They didn't come up with anything actually to hold these models together. So that's why I came up with a scanning adapter. Again, the idea is you articulate. I have another one here somewhere. I'll use this one. Yeah, it's easy, and I'll show you the other one too. This one is more difficult. Here it is. The idea is you articulate the model, the upper and lower. You articulate it the best way you know, most accurate. Then what I did is I took a glue gun and I tacked it in a couple of spots so it doesn't move on me. The other way with the rubber bands and the putty, I swear, every time we scan, there's always a space there. The better you articulate, the better the bite is going to come out. You know, the less, hopefully, the less adjustment you have to make. So I came up with this. The glue gun holds it together. Now, after it's articulated, loosen up the screw to allow it to come out. It slips right out. That's intact. Take your scanner adapter, put it in place. Now, to secure that, we have an Allen wrench, which, of course, I can't find it. But anyway, it's on the bottom, you just tighten it up and you secure the model. And it goes right into the tree shape. You have there's the little lock, locks are, it's positioned for the quadrant and the full arch. Now, if you can go into your tree shape or any other scanner you have option. You could have that putty that they use that you could sit this right on top of the putty, and then you could use it this way. Or if you have a clamp type, well, you could clamp it on. So there is a bunch. That's why you call it universal, because you're always going to find a way of holding it together, in a scanner. And it works out great. It works out really, really great. Now, that's the scanning adapter. Now, if talking about complicated cases, do the same thing with this guy. It's the same thing. Edentulous, upper and lower. This is overkill with all this glue gun stuff that I put on here, because when we used to go to the convention. Hopefully, we go back again. You pack it away and everything gets freaking banged around and distorted. So I put an extra material on that to make sure that when I get there, I don't have to worry about this thing coming apart. Anyway, the same thing over here. You loosen this up and you take it out. And it comes out 99.9, no, never mind, 100% of the time. And it slips right on here and it goes right into your scanner, tree shape. That's what I'm using. That's why I came up with this. And I kind of hope that, a lot of people uses this. Anyway, and if you don't, again, there's other ways. That's why we call it universal. You could put a putty, you could have a clamp, whatever you got. I don't know how many people use the iTero system. I'm sure there's a lot. And I got involved. Again, all of these ideas came from me doing it in the lab. And when I found the difficulty in finding, in using, like the iTero, there's so many things that I think that is not so good. One of them is you're using their articulator. That's number one. If it is off, you basically kind of you're screwed, because the only way to solve that problem is you got to take it out and you got to use a hinge articulator in order to solve the problem. So what I did is, and also when you're using their articulator, you got to try to, if you want to take the model out, you work as a ceramist, you want to take the model off that articulator. Is almost not impossible, but it's very difficult. And you got to be extremely careful, because the powdered porcelain could easily, the vibration, knock it right off. So in this case here, now again, we're using a step-down arm because these models are made kind of small. What I did is I came up with an adapter, this little tiny little doohickey. This is the exact same size vertical as the iTero articulator. So what I did is, you put it in place, you articulate your models. Now here's the beautiful part. If these guys are off, once you got it articulated, then you just take this guy off and that's it. If you are off a little bit, you don't have to go crazy. With the other one, you go pretty much crazy. All you got to do is loosen this up, move it around a little bit, find your position, and lock it. How freaking easy is that? That's pretty good. So this articulator really handles an awful lot of stuff. And again, same thing. You got your protrusive and your lateral movements. You still able to take, now look, the iTero articulator To take the model out, you know how, if you are one of the people that use that, you know the difficulty that. This is not difficult. This is easy. And it goes right back in again, 100% in position. You can't beat that. It has so many features. This little guy is unbelievable. It has so many features. Again, because of the plaster, not using the plaster, you never locked in. So you always come up with different ideas. I mean, before I start demonstrating to you guys, you know, I was just wondering what else I could mention. And I'm playing around, and I just solved another freaking problem, which is pretty cool. And I'll show you that in a little bit. Again, printed models. Now, if you look at this guy here, it's, you know, it's kind of hollow everywhere. With the crazy, that glue that I use, all you got to do is tack it in a few spots. It's really pretty interesting. You tack it in a few spots. You don't have to have slobber all over the place. And on plastic, you have no idea. This you can't take it out. It's absolutely secure, absolutely secure. On the top, you got one that I could see here. One little flat area right here that touches bottom. So that piece, the female, sits right there, and all it covers is that little area. That's all you need. You don't need to have it, you know, covered up. In stone, it's a little different. In stone, you want to get as much as covered as possible, but in plastic, it becomes one, and it's absolutely secure. It works fantastically. I'm going to articulate this thing here to give you an idea how versatile this articulator is. This is a triple tray. Then I'll give you the demo on the other triple tray, but I want to do this first. Again, the process is always the same. It never is going to change. You got 4 screws, you loosen them up, and you tighten them up. That's basically it. So now this one here, I did it intentionally. I made it where the models are completely out of whack. Now, I don't think you want to articulate like this. You know, it's all really in bad shape. But the bottom line is, this articulator, because of the ball joints, swivel in so many different directions, look at that. You could articulate the craziest models. Now, do you want to do this? No. But if you have to, and let's say there's no other way out, hey, you could still work like this. So why not? Why not? So that's that. Now I'm going to show you the triple tray. We'll take this guy out, and we're going to put another one in. That's fine. Okay. Again, this is that was a triple tray, but I just wanted to show you how versatile the articulator is. Now, if you're using, which most labs come across triple trays all of the time, especially mine, and the bites, they're off a strong percentage. This is the only articulator that you could actually pour both sides of the model, put it back in position without losing any accuracy. For the simple, like if you were using a hinge articulator or you're using a plastic articulator, how you hold these models to that impression. Crazy glue, it might work, but it has a spring, it has a sponge there that it always is going to move a little bit. In this case here, all you got to do is with your hands, hold down tight. Just hold down tight and just loosen up, tighten the screws that we loosened up earlier. And that's basically it. And you're done. Again, we got the same feature, lateral, protrusive movement. They're always going to be the same. The ability of working off the articulator is easy. Going back 100% in position, but the triple J's are off a lot of the time. Guess what? I articulated this thing upside down, I think. Yeah, I did. But anyway, for this it'll work out, but it's upside down. But if you happen to be off, again, and triple trays are notorious for that. All you got to do is open it up, find your position, and lock it. You're done. You're done. That's it. Upside down, but you're done. If you do dentures, this articulator has to be one of the, I know that a lot of people want to use a full adjustable articulator in so many different situations, and I understand that, but my articulator was meant not to do that. It just because you're competing with something that I didn't want to compete with. I understand that the accuracy is supreme in those articulators, but I would say 80% of the labs, maybe even more, are so used to hinge articulator. Look at the plastic. I mean, they do freaking roundhouse in a plastic articulator. So, and if I got to compete with that, that's an easy compete. This is much better. This is much better. It's light. This only weighs 9 ounces, and they're anodized. The articulator is made out of stainless steel and aluminum. It will never get rusty. You could, if you have debris, wax on this, take a steam gun, just steam it off. It works out fantastically. So it really is a great tool. Now for dentures, now let's try this. If you have to use a fully adjustable articulator for demonstration purpose, okay, these are articulated. Now, what I did was I duplicated the 2 models. Now I'm going to pull this guy aside so we could have a little better view. I duplicated the 2 models and I used my articulator. Use this guy here. I did all of the work on this articulator. Now we can articulate this guy. Again, I keep saying it, loosen up the 4 screws and then you tighten them up again. That's all you do. Hold it together. Find your position. Now, remember what I was saying about the top assembly being close to the screw? This is important. To the stop, this is important because now we have nothing to stop it. Bring, you see it? Go. Bring this guy down and hold it together and tighten this up. I mean, you know, when you have it in your hands, it'll be a lot easier. Now you could use it against your chest. You could do whatever you got to do to make it happen. And that's what I'm doing. Well, I'm not doing it, but that's what you should do. Okay, now secure the screw, make sure it touches the top assembly and lock it. And we've done that. Now, after you did that, you start setting up your teeth. I did this ahead of time, as you can see. Now your teeth are set up. There we go. Also, look in the back. You have this little guy opens up to the point that you have so much room back here that it's easy to maneuver your teeth, you know, in position. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Now, put it back on the fully adjustable articulator. You did not have to work on this guy for the whole time. Now, if you did one every 6 months, no big deal. But if you do 1 or 2 of these a day, it is a big deal. Now you could do your final wax up and adjustment. And then you're done. And you didn't have to work on this guy. That's pretty cool. Or at least I think it's pretty cool. I got models everywhere. What else do we have? We have a lot of stuff here. We have a lot of stuff. And anyway, and it's all from the same articulator. That's really interesting. Now, how many articulator could you come up with that will do all these functions and drop models? Does anybody work with the Koi's Facebook? My articulator, I can't use a regular Facebook because the articulator is just way too small for that. But Koi's comes up with a different method of doing this, and it works pretty cool. So I came up a way of articulating this. The idea is the doctor, okay, this is the impression that the doctor takes, the bite. He makes sure that everything is in position. There's a vertical rod here that just sort of the vertical rod is sort of positions it in the middle of the nose and so on. I mean, the doctor knows, and he's going to find the right position, and then he's going to take that bite. Once he takes the bite, he passes it on to me. I have the same Koi's. I slip it in position. Now we're going to show you how this thing works. Open up the articulator all the way up, because it has no meaning. Once we have this thing set, it's going to move up and down. So the position is never going to change. So let me find the model. I even wrote the name down, Koi's, and I still can't find it. We're going to do the top model. That's the bite. Find flat surface, which is this is. Make sure that this is balanced, which it isn't yet, and it will be. You know, you want it somewhat straight. You know, it doesn't have to be 100%. Okay, now we're set. With Koi's, there's a bubble level here. By the way, that wasn't Koi's, that was me. They didn't have nothing, so I couldn't figure out how the heck am I going to balance this. It's impossible. The first one I did, because I don't do this that often, but it was one of my doctors that wanted to use the Koi's. Says, okay, I mean, it's worth the investment. If this becomes popular, everybody's going to want to use it. So I said, how the heck am I going to, balance this? So I thought of on my iPhone, there's a level on the damn thing, and so I put the iPhone here, and I watched the iPhone when it was set in the middle, and I probably wasn't 100%, but I got close. But that sort of opened up the door for me to investigate and look for something better. Anyway, and I did. So I through Amazon, I bought these little bubble levels. This actually they come from it belongs on a camera. The position of the camera, I'm not sure how they use it, but anyway. So the idea is for me to get this the same plane that the doctor did. So that's what I'm going to do. Again, tighten these guys up. This doesn't mean nothing yet. You want to balance this. You want to position the stop model in exactly vertically and horizontally correct. Put the bite in position. Loosen this guy up. Now you got mobility to get that bubble right in the center. At the same time, which is really, it's kind of difficult. At the same time, this, you see this vertical stop? It's got to be here. It's got to be dead on. Now, if you want to secure it, take the guy here and tighten it up so you have a better shot of not vertical, not moving. Okay, so there we are. Now it's time. Keep it still on a flat surface. Look for the bubble when it's in the center. When you think it's in the center, tighten it up. Guess what? It was not in the center, but we'll change it. But this got to be tight too. There we go. Okay, I was looking at it from the side like this, and it basically wasn't he looked in the center from here, but when I went over here, So anyway, now it's in the center, everything is locked up, and you just articulated the top model in the same position as the doctor took the bite. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Now we have to go with the bottom. The bottom, again, make sure that everything's tightened up properly. Now you could loosen up the vertical rods. Again, it doesn't matter because that position is not going to change. It doesn't matter. The bottom is going to have a plastic sleeve in position. This is one time that you don't glue that bottom piece on before you do it afterwards. And you'll understand why. Put in the plastic piece in place. Take your model, hold it in position. Again, I tighten these guys up. And if you're not 100% sure, just hold it down. Absolutely hold it down. Loosen up the lower assembly. Yeah, it would be nice if I tighten this up. Yeah, go. Okay, it's really, really easy. Really, really easy. Hold it in place like this. Make sure this is down. It's so simple, it's ridiculous. Tighten it up. Now you got the lower in position. And all you got to do is put some crazy glue on here and lock it. And you got yourself articulated. You got the articulation of with the Koi's face ball. How cool is that? And it's not that difficult. It's pretty simple, actually. So that's fantastic. So that's Koi's. If you are setting up, I already showed you how to set up the articulating for the denture, but the value of this for dentures is, I'm grabbing the wrong thing. The value for dentures is huge. I'll explain. You're setting up upper and lower, or upper, it doesn't make a difference. You send it to the doctor. The doctor has the patient in a chair. He tries it in. It's off a little bit. So he has options of taking a bite, re-articulate it, right? What if he has an articulator, my articulator, re-articulate in position, and he could see if the patient bit correctly. If the patient didn't, he could go right back in the mouth and check it again. That's one. If it's really way off, he could take another bite, check it to make sure that the bite is correct, send it back to the lab, and he could easily say, listen, with confidence, reset it and finish it because this bite is correct. So that's what's going to happen, right? If he wants to, and it's a really minor adjustment, he could articulate it himself and move the teeth in position if it's not a big deal. Now, all of this is I mean, send it back is not a problem, but you got a chance here to save a chair visit. That's huge. The doctor has the opportunity, if he has my articulator, it has the opportunity to move teeth around a little bit. And so this way, when it gets back to the lab, just finish it. which is pretty cool. Another good reason why the dentist should have an articulator. You're doing presentation to the patient on future work, whatever you need to do. My articulator, besides it's pretty good looking, so it's a nice presentation, but all you got to do is pour a couple of models, stick on those two disposable plates, and you're done. There's nothing sloppy about this. And it works out beautiful. I mean, I don't know what else I could say. I mean, they have a huge benefit. Once you did all the resetting and you're ready for processing, this is when that scoring comes in handy. Intentionally, pop this off, pop the female off, and put it aside. Isolate the area with Vaseline. Invest it, process it. Once it's processed, knock it off. Don't knock off. Don't take the denture out. Don't try to do that. Steam off the Vaseline and glue back that female. Now, sometimes it's difficult to find a position, but it never happened to me. It's always been okay. But just in case, you take an extra precaution because you absolutely do not want to glue this thing back wrong. Take a pencil and just go right around the female, and now you have the shape of the female there. So you put on your glue, and you know the position dead on, and glue it back on. Now, at this point, put it back on the articulator, and note, the articulator that you use to reset that don't take anything apart. Keep it in the pan until you finish with this process. Put it back on the articulator, calibrate it to where you want it. Now you can knock it off. You can do whatever you want to do because we know that the articulation is correct and the dot is not going to go crazy. And that's basically how we stay in business. Keep these guys happy, which I don't mind. So that's okay. Another way, if you don't want to go through knocking this off, what you do is take a lead putty. You could just take a little bit of lead putty and just put it right over it. But the only reason why I don't use it, I don't do it, is because it builds up the model a little bit. Now, you know, sometimes you're flasking and it becomes a little too high, and this way I eliminate that. But if you did that, right, then all you got to do is peel off the lead putty and you're good. Flat cruise or plane. This is kind of interesting also. This will do what the Koi's did. It simplifies it. It's really kind of crazy. But anyway, let me find something here. Again, the idea of this is you want to set up your model. The models may be off. You know, you're never going to get 100%. So if you can't get the models 100%, you can use something that's going to get your plane 100% of the wax pipe. If the doctor did his homework and gave you the right information, you're going to follow it. You're going to follow it, and it's going to give you great results. So, again, we're going to do like we did with the Koi's. Lock it up. Okay, we put this guy in place. This cannot be like that. Always like this. It has to touch that screw. So I got to turn this away from you guys because I got to do this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screw this down tight enough that it's not gonna move on me. All right. Now, take this plane. I'm gonna turn it so you guys could see it. Take this plane. You're going to find the position. Again, here's what I'm doing. This is all the way down. You're going to find a position. I got to turn it back my way because I got to see that bubble that's going to be in the center. Okay, now it's in the center. Now, before I even take this apart, the doctor set the bite perfect where he wants his teeth. Take your pencil, go around this guy here, all the way around. And stop. At this point, you could set your teeth right now to that. Once you set up those teeth, and this is flat, so if you got to make the little curve, move the teeth up a little bit and so on, you know what to do. Once you did that, and the teeth are set, to do the next step, again, loosen this guy up. I apologize because I'm doing this, but I know I'm not showing you anything, but I'm going to put this bite in place. Hold it. I got to simulate a little bit because I have already a plastic piece in place here. And so you're going to have to, you're going to get it because I'm going to put this plastic piece here against this other plastic piece. But to give you the idea how this works is you set it, and if you locked it all up, now making believe that this piece is not in place, all you got to do is glue it. And you have it set horizontally, perfect, and vertical, perfect. That's what doctors want. That's what you want. That's the way you want it to go. So now it's easy to set up your teeth. But not only that is, you got this guy here that you could set the teeth right with this in place, and then you follow up with the lower, and you set up the lower right against that. I mean, it's how easy could it be? It saves you a ton of time. It saves you a ton of time. So anyway, that's using the flat occlusal plane, which is a nice tool to have. It really is. This is a must-have. I mean, I already showed you, but it's really interesting. Nobody, you know something? On this articulator, I mean, there is nothing out there that competes with this, with the ability that this articulator has. Not because I invented it. It's a nice articulator. It's light, it's compact, and it does so much. I use it every single day, every day. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to pop this guy. See the grooves in there? The grooves are over here. And it'll go back in position. Now, again, I'm just for safety purpose, because you don't want to glue this back on wrong, okay? You absolutely do not want to do that. You see that? That's easy. Okay, so we take a little crazy glue, put it back on here, and absolutely there's zero guesswork. And you're back in 100% in position. When you got to start moving around and find the right position, you could also get some debris that gets caught into those little grooves, and that'll stop from seating down. That also will stop from having an accurate articulation. So that little pencil is not a bad idea. It works out pretty good. Here's something that one of my doctors, I would like to take credit, but no, one of my doctors came up with it. What he did is he received a denture. He's got my articulator. He knows how to use it, you know, and he's pretty cool with it. So he got a denture back, and it was pretty much off. So what he did is he took a bite, used lead putty, put it on the denture, upper and lower, and glued the plastic female on here. So now I don't have to go through the articulation, but you'll get the idea. Once it's articulated, the bite is in place. He calibrated himself within minutes, repolished it. The beautiful part is, if you had to do this and you use plaster, God forbid, you got plaster or stone goes into those little crevices that you're there forever trying to pick that out. This peels off. So it's really quick. The putty sets within a minute or so. Glues does the same thing. You could use that accelerator like I showed you. And the patient is still there. You're not losing a visit. That's fantastic. You're not losing a visit. That's most important. One visit is worth 10 articulators. Well, take that back. Not that much. We're not giving these things away. But you do save time. And you do save a chair side. Whatever the amount is, you're saving it, period. So that's not so bad. So that's a pretty good feature right there for a dentist to try, because again, in a few minutes you get this thing articulated and you just calibrate and so on, and then polish it off. And even now, a lot of dentists are getting close together in where they have in-house lab, where they have 2 or 3 dentists in there and so on. That is the best deal right here. That is the best deal. So you can't beat it. You can't beat it. It's a great benefit for the dentist. The ability of checking your bites instantly, whether it's right or wrong, is huge. In-house lab has 2 or 3 of these articulators. You don't have to buy plaster anymore. That's not so bad. That's not so bad at all. I haven't, like I said it before, I haven't bought plaster for 10 years. I don't miss it. We used to buy by the ton and stacking it all up over here. Not only that, paying for all that shit. And we don't have to. And here's another good one. My preparatory person that does all the plaster and dyes and so on and so forth for in models, he has a half a day. He has at least a half a day, because all he does, a freedom, which now what he does is he does repairs for me. So there's a huge benefit right there. What he does is he makes all the model pin decks, does the whole thing, but he doesn't articulate them. He just puts the disposables on, and he sets them out. Now, if the smart thing to do is educate your technicians to embrace that in a way that if a case is, I mean, they're wrong. I mean, if a technician is doing a case, oh, this bite is wrong, what does he do? Sends it back, and you're losing so much time. You're losing so much time. If they learn to recognize where the fault is at, all they got to do is tweak it and put it in position. It's easy to articulate. It's easy to articulate. 15 seconds. You could take that time out, and then you know. Now, it's not an easy thing, but I know a lot of my doctors, they said this articulator works perfect. when you do the right thing. It doesn't work that perfect. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work that perfect when you don't take the time out. But do you know how many models? I jumped from there to here. But do you know how many models that we get, especially the alginate models, impression that they take, they're distorted. And you really, really got to look. I'm not talking about bubbles, but you really got to look hard sometimes to find where the fault is at. If you got that articulator in plaster and you didn't take the time out to look for those things and you got it articulated, it's going back and forth. That's crazy. That's crazy. This gives you the opportunity to study the model, look at it where there may be some fault, get rid of the fault, and try to make it right. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. You're not set in. You could always make changes. I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but that's the truth. So you have a screw up, you change the screw up. You set in plaster, you have a screw up, you have a screw up. That's it. That's it. And the articulator is $197. Just to give you a small little perspective, if you think that's expensive. This is a UCLA abutment. I don't know if you see it, that little tiny guy. That's over $200. Used once. So you make a markup and you do whatever, 40%, whatever the heck it is that you do. And you make a couple of dollars. The articulator you buy once, over and over again. Like I said, I use my articulator for 1,000 times more each one of them. I've been in business a long, long time. This has been going on for over 10 years. So we articulate a bunch. We articulate a bunch. This is 200, over 200. This is 197. Permanent. Once. Permanent. Once. By the way, it's the wine that's doing this. But you get the idea. I mean this. Anyway, we went through this presentation. I thank everybody for coming on board to at least check this out. Because again, we are as like you, we don't know what to expect out of this. But if it is going to work, and God forbid something should go, no, never mind, I'm not going to go into it. Nothing's going to go wrong. We're going to go back to normal. Everything's going to be fine. And that's where I want to be at. I want to see you people in Chicago, in California, in Philadelphia. I want to see you in New York. I want to see everybody all over the place, because that's what I do enjoy. I do enjoy showing these things that I have, and I don't have too much, but I do have a passion for this, you know, and this stuff is cool. This stuff is really cool. Now we're going into the 20th century, and well, that has nothing to do with this, but what it has to do is that times have changed so much because we are in the digital. So I like to think that we brought this articulator to help out along the way. You know, like the articulated digital models, black articulator to help out in the scanners. So I want to be there. I really do. I want to be there, and scanning adapters, all kinds of stuff. You know, we're never going to stop using the articulator. Not yet. I mean, maybe one day I think it's going to happen. But if you got to use an articulator, I would like to think that you're going to lean towards the Enzo Universal Articulator, because it's a pretty cool deal. It really is. It's not all that expensive. Again, the stupid example that I made, but that is the damn truth. You know, look at this thing. You can't even see it. It is the damn truth. I know you're making money. This is a necessity. You're making money off of this, of course. And I get it. But the articulator, you're buying it once. Do you know how much money I made off my articulator over 10 years using the same damn thing? I mean, it's got to be worth more, a lot more than this guy. A lot more than this guy. And that's for sure. I mean, seriously, I haven't thrown out one articulator yet in 10 years. No, over 10 years. I've been doing this for a long time. Over 10 years. The same articulator is still functioning. And I use it every day. We do at least, I would say, on a busy day, 40, 50 articulation. So you multiply that by a whole bunch of freaking years, you got a lot of use. A lot of use. And we're still using it. If you don't abuse it, it's golden. You don't abuse it, you have it for a long, long time. I'm not putting a guarantee on it because some people are kind of a little ridiculous. They do things that I shouldn't be doing, you know, but that articulator, if it works in my hands for all that time, it has to work in your hands the same way. It has to. If you want to abuse it, yeah, easily. I mean, these are kind of delicate. I mean, they're not made out of, they're made out of the right material. But if you're going to throw it against the wall, you're going to lose it. If you're going to abuse it, if you're going to drop it, if you're going to do stupid things, yeah, this is not going to be that cool. But if you do what I did, this is the best articulator on the planet. Oh, wait a minute, I got to take another sip of wine. Yeah, this is rough. Let me take a bite of the pretzel. These pretzels are really cool. If we get an opportunity, buy them. They're delicious. Extra dark. They're really, really good. Like that. And I'm not getting paid to advertise that. So, the heck was I talking about? Oh, the protrusive adapter. No, I did that already. One more glass of wine and it's going to be fun. Again, I'm going to show you if I find it. Well, the phone is ringing. I'm going to pause. So, hold on. Eric, I hope you could fix this up because I'm not going through this, please, not twice. Anyway, so one good thing, I get around and have another glass of wine. Yeah. We'll resume when the phone stops ringing. By the way, this is homemade. It's freaking good. If you guys are interested, it's not available. Oh, that phone. Well, I'm not crying. I just got a clogged duct that makes my eye, the right eye, tear. It drives me crazy, but anyway, so once in a while, I look like I'm crying, but I'm not. Oh, shit. The damn phone. Well, we'll get through this, Eric. Gonna stop now. Oh, shit. I don't even know if you guys hear it. I would assume you do. So I don't want to talk over that thing. We're going to cut this portion out, but meanwhile, I'll still talk a little bit. Oh, my Lord. I don't know. I'm going to close the door. All right, let's resume. We were talking about the scanning adapter. Anyway, what I was saying is, Son of a gun. Excuse me. Here we go again. I just, if you guys don't mind, thank you. Let me tell you, this is the wine that we made last year that we're drinking this year. We just bottled it. Dead on. Really, really good. The beautiful part about this is there's no preservatives in here. This is all natural. This is grapes with a kick. Grape juice with a kick. Not bad. Anyway, it's like drinking medicine that tastes really good. That's pretty cool. The freaking phone is ringing again. Well, maybe that's a good thing. I get a chance to take a wine break. Thank you, phone. And a pretzel break. I hope this convention goes well. If it does work, we could try it because I don't know when this virus is going to be over, but we have to be prepared. All kidding aside, this is the only thing that we have. Other than that, we all going to be in the dark. Whatever we got to offer, you're never going to know about it through other than magazine. But showing things like this has to be a plus. Of course, in person is so much better, but what are you going to do? This is what we got. That's it. But we'll go back soon, for sure. The phone's still ringing. Damn. Eric, I hope you know what you're doing with this thing here, because I can't do it again. This is taking a long time. Eric is my sidekick. He's the one that handles the impossible and makes it possible. Me, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Oh, that damn phone. Give me a break. Holy shit. Well, it's okay by me. It's good wine. Really good. We just made another batch a few weeks back. We did, well, it's 123 cases of grapes, which equals about 2 tons of grapes. And we have 5 varieties of different blends. So that should be interesting. So we won't find out on that until next September. So middle of September next year, we get to opportunity to drink the new wine. But in between, we have to do certain things, you know, to try to make it clear and so on, racking the wine from one container to another container and so on, and get rid of all the bad stuff from sediments from the bottom of the container. So by the end of that process, hopefully we end up with a nice, clean, clear wine, which is awesome. So, you know, it's a lot of work, but boy, oh boy, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Now, if you have to buy wine, you got all the sulfites. Seriously, this is the best way to go. Not everybody would want to do this because it's labor intense, but I love it. Okay. The phone stopped ringing. What the hell was I talking about? Dentures. The phone is ringing again. Shit. I'm not supposed to be in the lab today. We're supposed to be off. I don't get that. Oh, screw it. Now we stop. No, there it goes again. Wait a minute. My beard has been screwed up. Not easy to keep this damn thing fluffy. Goes everywhere. Anyway, here we go. We're at it again. Doctors has a huge benefit with this articulator. Presentation to the patient, in-house labs, which is huge. I mean, you can't beat this. You don't have to store plaster. I stopped buying plaster 10 years ago. I've been using this for 10 years. And you want to know something? The first articulator that I used 10 years ago still works today. And I must have used it 1,000 times. That's how great this articulator is. That's pretty cool. Now, you ready to process the denture? If you're ready to process the denture, you intentionally, this is what I do. You don't have to do it this way, but I'll tell you another way. Intentionally take a knife and pop this off. That's another reason why I'm scoring the model, right? And popping it off. Isolate it with Vaseline. Invest it. Process it. Finish it. Don't knock it off yet. What you do is clean out the bottom, steam off the Vaseline, and glue the female back in position. Now, what you should do, because sometimes when you're using the crazy glue, if you take it never happened to me, but it could happen. You put the glue on there and you can't find the position and you're going crazy. And you do not want to position it in the wrong way. So what I do is I take a pencil and go right around this guy. Now, when you take it off, the pencil gives you the story. It tells you where you got to put it back on. So you're not going to make a mistake. It's important enough that you should practice that because it's not a bad idea. Okay? So once you have it glued back on, slip it back on the articulator. By the way, the articulation that you did to set up these teeth, you should not disturb this until you finish this process. You keep that articulator in the pan, in a work pan, and then once you put this back in position, you check your bite, calibrate it properly. Now you can knock it off. Now you're golden, and finish the denture, and you're good. I really, this is crazy. This damn phone is doing it again. And besides that, I did all of that with this freaking glass of wine in here, which I'm going to repeat myself. So Eric, you could, I know you can't make the glass disappear. Son of a bitch. The wine is good. The phone is ringing. I'm gonna do this again, Eric. You got some work ahead of you. Oh, you got some work ahead of you. Holy shit! A freaking phone. Think we're done? Huh? I can even finish my pretzel. Okay. Once you get used to it and you get something articulated in plaster or whatever you may have, it's like you're working with a straitjacket. You can't move. If something is wrong, you're stuck. This you're not. This absolutely you're not. Anyway, we're pausing for a commercial, and we're advertising the Enzo wine. Homemade wine. Take a pause. There we go. I know I'm gonna make somebody jealous. Gotta have a pretzel. These pretzels are really freaking good. The dark ones are really good. Eric, you got a lot of cutting to do. We got an hour and 21 minutes over here. You got to have an awful lot of, holy Christ. I thought I couldn't even do 5 minutes. I'm into an hour and a half. This is crazy. But anyway, I never thought I was going to get a kick out of this. I didn't think that I could do anything with this day, but it's working out. I just hope I got my message across, because the articulator is absolutely awesome. But this damn beard keeps going to one side. Shit. Get back in there. Here we go. No, get over there. I got a couple of more things, and I think I'm finished. Now, the crazy thing here is, I know that I'm recording. I hope I didn't miss nothing, because it says recording over there. It says recording over here. If I got to do this again, I'm going to need a whole case of wine. Well, anyway, after a couple of drinks, it's beginning to be fun. Before I started this, God help me. All right, Eric, we're going to continue. The phone is going off again. Shit. It isn't me drinking, it's the phone that's making me drunk. So, can't help that. That wine is good. Pretzel is good. It's so crunchy, my brain is shattering. It's shittering. What the hell does it work? I think the wine is beginning to work. Listen to this shit. I shouldn't say that. We're off today. They were notified. I don't understand why they keep on calling. Anyway, let me put that down. This is not a bad feature. Anyway, dentists have a great benefit with the articulator. It is great for dentures. The ability of working off of the articulator is a big, huge benefit. It goes back 100%. The ability that you, if the doctor has, oh boy. Can't use that. Eric, you got to put this in because this is cute. Holy shit. I quit. How do we stop this? Holy shit. Wait a minute. One by one. I can't find the freaking mouse. Here we go. Where we go? Where we go? You got to stop something. We stop recording. Shit.